Mojo Nixon, on stage, is a man possessed.
I saw Al at an Arby's. I saw food at a Burger King.
As for his spreading fame, he says he's just reached the point where you can call him underground.
Commercial, the idea is to be good, you know. So I try to make the best records I can, and if radio can just get off their skinny butts and play them, that'd be good, you know.
Le truc de Mojo, c'est la rupture, la douche écossaise.
It definitely loses something in the translation on French TV, but Mojo Nixon and his sidekick Skid Roper are turning into international stars.
You know, it's too bad y'all aren't here like at the end of the tour. We'd be like looking like hell, you know. I even shaved today. I'm just not my normal self, you know. Normally my whole body looks like this jacket.
Mojo is a Virginia boy who calls San Diego home now. He started his act in small clubs here. This was his most recent San Diego concert, a homecoming of sorts, a Halloween ball at the Del Mar Fairgrounds.
Yeah. These sound checks are hell. My whole life is hell.
Skid Roper, king of the washboard, is a bit quieter.
Sorry I'm not as quotable as Mojo. And you can quote me on that.
That's the whole band. And his trail boss, road manager Scott Riley, and you've got the whole traveling entourage.
Yeah, I do all the work and they do all the play. That's the way the jobs are differentiated. And as you can see what the stress has done to me, and they look happy and healthy.
Now, a sound check is when you make sure your equipment is working, when you get an idea how the room sounds, and it gives you a chance to try out new song ideas.
Is that channel 8? Goes like that?
Channel 8, Channel 8, I can't wait. Oh, Allison Ross is really boss.
Catchy tune, man, yeah.
After the sound check, a lot of waiting. There's a lot of waiting around in rock and roll, and a lot of living and driving in vans like Mojo and Skid's tour bus.
We've been 70,000 miles, 80,000 miles in the last year and a half. In this thing.
The camper they gave Mojo as a dressing room is luxury compared to what he's used to.
You know, this is pretty nice. You know, normally we're in these like beat up rooms with bad graffiti and smell like winos have been living there and stuff. I mean, this is a little funky smelling, but normally they're a lot worse than this, you know.
But you learn important lessons on the road.
Two things that kind of keep the rock and roll world going, WD-40 and duct tape. These two things together can pretty much fix anything.
I hate my angel. How about you?
Nothing is sacred to Mojo Nixon. He's kind of like Lenny Bruce or Eddie Murphy with a guitar, a comedian, a rhythm and blues singer, a satirist.
I'm all them things. I'm, you know, kind of American existential poet or something of the gonzo absurd, you know.
Financial institutions think they're so highfalutin.
Mojo Nixon spares few of America's cherished institutions in his songs: banks, fast food restaurants, newspapers like the Inquirer, and perhaps that most sacred of all of America's institutions, the shopping mall.
Burn down the malls. Burn down the malls. Burn down the shopping mall.
Some of y'all are probably saying to yourself, yo, Mojo, why you got this TV set on your head?
Even though Mojo's got videos on MTV, he's not gonna stop making fun of them.
MTV. Get away from me. I don't want to see you. No ugly Bon Jovi.
If there's one thing Mojo has learned, it's how to work an audience.
And I usually think of the audience as like our third member. Since we don't have 3 background singers over there, we use the audience. I just do what I do best, which is just kind of get a little boogie-woogie going, or some kind of down-home, front porch kind of thing going, and then just start ranting and raving over top of it, you know.
You know who's in front of ya? Well, a bunch of evil yuppie twits in the Eurojumbo Foo-Foo-Mobiles.
What I like in a show, and I think what people appreciate, is that feeling that anything can happen.
I see a little bit of Elvis in each and every one of you out there.
Tomorrow, Mojo's showstopper, Elvis is everywhere, and Mojo at home. Chris Saunders, News 8.
When I look into your eyes out there, when I look into each and every one of your faces, you know what I see? I see a little bit of Elvis in each and every one of you out there. Let me tell you,
Mojo Nixon's biggest claim to fame so far is his song and video, Elvis is Everywhere. The video is getting regular airplay on MTV, which has given Mojo and his sidekick Skid Roper national celebrity.
He's in the young, the old, the white, the black, the brown, the fat, the blue, the skinny. Elvis is in everybody except one person. The evil opposite of Elvis. The anti-Elvis.
People say, "Oh, Mojo, you're making fun of Elvis." You know, well, we are making fun of Elvis because Elvis did a lot of stupid things. You know, he became Elvis at the end. He shot TVs. He was addicted to Percodan. You know, he's a mess. But also, Elvis did a lot of great things. You know, there's like a lot of great songs, great movies, great concerts.
Michael J. Fox got no Elvis in him. Ah!
Mojo gives great concerts too. It's like he's possessed on stage.
I try to whip myself into a total frenzy. There are times when I do feel possessed, but usually just for like maybe 10 seconds at a time. But that's really what I'm looking for. I'm just bearing down on some song in just a wild and crazy manner, and then I just feel like I feel good. And I'm just like, whoa, yeah!
But what is Mojo like when he's not performing? We decided to find out in this completely staged surprise visit. You know, I think in order to get to know Mojo the man, it's kind of important to visit him at home. So now, for the first time anywhere, Mojo Nixon at home. Yo, Moj, you in there?
Yeah, hey, boy. Come in here, son.
All right, he's in here. Now, if this is a typical day for Mojo, I think I know what I'm going to find him doing right now, and that is, watching Foghorn Leghorn cartoons, because you can find him doing that almost any day. What are you doing, Mojo?
Come on in. Sit down here, son. Watching Foghorn Leghorn here.
Told you.
The boy is right there. Pay attention. Pay attention.
That Rhode Island red turned white, then blue. Rhode Island, red, white, and blue. That's a joke, son.
Well, Foghorn, he's having fun while he's talking. He's using some extemporaneous pontification. It's a Southern thing, a great Southern tradition of exaggerated oratory, I think it would be, yeah.
What's going on here?
This here is Otis the Drunk from the Andy Griffith Show. He's part of the Mojo Holy Trinity. That's the Holy Trinity of Foghorn Leghorn, who we saw earlier, Otis the Drunk, and Elvis Presley, the big three.
Mojo is nothing if not irreverent. In his songs, he makes fun of everything, from banks to yuppies to MTV to shopping malls. People magazine said a Mojo show is like having a wasp fly up your nose. British interviewer called him a cultural terrorist.
I like trying to rile people up. You know, I don't particularly want people to do a certain thing. I just want people to think about things. You know, I don't like have a plan or a program. You know, this is the Mojo way to truth and justice. I just want people to maybe go, say, maybe this isn't right, or maybe we should do something different.
Enough people like what Mojo does that he and Skid, who were playing small clubs in San Diego not too long ago, are coming to grips with money and success.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to have to be something I'm not. I mean, obviously things may change. If we get real successful, you know, we'll get into different modes of transportation, I hope.
Right now, Mojo is just back from a tour of the Midwest, Canada, and the South. The western part of the tour had to be canceled, though, when Mojo collapsed after an LA show in October. He's trying to slow down now.
Because I kind of thought I was like indestructible. But I mean, I just slowed down a little bit. You know. I'm sure I'll be revving back up to the former frenzy.
But frenzy is what Mojo is all about. He's a wild man.
Halfway through the set, he's gone. He just completely freaks out. He's demented. A club owner will come up to me and say, you know, oh, we're running late. One more song. I'll say, you tell him. The last 20 minutes he's on stage, I don't even want to talk to him.
What kind of a world would Mojo like to live in?
Well, I'm not exactly sure how I would fit into it, but obviously we wouldn't be spending whatever it is, billions of dollars on weapons to kill people. I mean, you know, and obviously I think people should be doing things that they love. If you hate your job, then it makes you mean in the rest of your life. I think, you know, ideally people would find jobs where they liked their job and they felt like they were doing something good and they were having a good time, and then I think people would be a lot happier.
Mojo Nixon couldn't be happier with his job.
Great googly moogly!
Chris Saunders, News 8.